Hi guys, I'm Elephant. Today I want to share a thrilling harem anime, Oreshura. The male protagonist Ida sets a goal for himself before the start of school, promising himself that he will never fall in love. But he is pursued by the school babe not long after he enters school. Soon, more girls send him love letters one after another, wanting to be his girlfriend. Every day, Ida encounters pranks from girls and is even pulled into the dressing room to change clothes together. Ida watches as the girls tease him in bathing suits, and his determination to not fall in love begins to waver. Can Ida achieve his goals? We are first introduced to the male protagonist, Ida. Ida is a high school student who lives alone. Both of his parents abandon him after they cheat on each other, causing him to disbelieve in love. Ida never interacts with any girl except his childhood best friend, Chiwa. Chiwa lives next door to Ida's house and has always liked him. Unfortunately, Ida is too insensitive to detect her intention. Chiwa and Ida attend the same school but are not in the same class. She notices a recent transfer student in Ida's class named Misuzu. Misuzu is beautiful and is recognized as the school babe. Worried that Ida would like Misuzu, Chiwa cautiously inquires about Ida's opinion of Misuzu. Ida focuses on his studies at school and knows nothing about Misuzu, who is simply a classmate of his. Chiwa breathes a sigh of relief, thinking that Misuzu will not be her rival in love. In fact, Chiwa is being naive. After school that day, Ida is about to go home as usual, when Misuzu suddenly invites him to join her. Ida suspects that Misuzu suddenly approaches him to play a prank and nervously asks about her attempts. To his surprise, Misuzu actually confesses her love to him in public. Misuzu's words cause a commotion in the class, and Ida doesn't know how to deal with the chaotic situation, so he has to leave the school with Misuzu first. Ida knows that he and Misuzu have no interaction and that she won't easily like him, and calmly asks Misuzu why she lies in public. Misuzu instantly gives a weird smile and confesses that she is only using Ida. Just 2 months after transferring to the school, Misuzu is confessed by 58 boys. She hates falling in love, and in order to avoid being harassed by boys, she decides to find a boy to play her boyfriend. Not long ago, Misuzu found Ida's diary among second-hand books sold in a bookstore. She learns from his diary that Ida hates being in love as much as she does, and thinks Ida is the best candidate to play her boyfriend. Worried that Ida would not agree, Misuzu reads a passage from Ida's diary, stating that Ida suffers from chunibyo in junior high school and often dreams that he is a burning fighting fighter hidden among humans. She threatens Ida with making the contents of the diary public if he rejects her offer. Ida is very embarrassed to hear the contents of the diary and agrees to Misuzu in order to avoid revealing his secret. Misuzu wants Ida to get used to the boyfriend role and takes the initiative to hold his arm. Their intimate physical contact is seen by Chiwa. After questioning Misuzu, Chiwa learns that Misuzu and Ida are in love, and is rattled that she loses her mind. She claims that Ida's relationship must be approved by her because she is Ida's childhood best friend. Misuzu is keenly aware that Chiwa likes Ida, but she doesn't want to give up her fake relationship with Ida, and directly pulls Ida away. Chiwa gets raged, and in order to prove to Ida that she is better than Misuzu, she finds the opportunity to announce to Ida that she will find a fine boyfriend to take revenge on him. Ida thought that the reason Chiwa gets angry is that he doesn't announce his relationship to her in advance, hesitating for days whether to tell the truth. Not noticing that his relationship with Misuzu has gone viral in school, Ida asks Misuzu to tell Chiwa about their disguised love. Misuzu disagrees, arguing that the more people know the secret, the easier it is for the secret to expose. She is worried that Ida will tell the secret under Chiwa's pestering, and decides to help Chiwa find a boyfriend to prevent her from continuing to pester Ida. Misuzu takes Ida to form a club to help students fall in love and especially invites Chiwa to join. Although Chiwa hates Misuzu, she has to admit that Misuzu is so attractive that she thinks that under Misuzu's teaching, she may really find a boyfriend who is better than Ida, so she agrees to join the club. Misuzu points out that Chiwa's primary goal is to identify who to pursue. Chiwa knows very few boys, only hearing that a senior named Sakata is very popular with girls, and asks Misuzu for advice on whether he could be a suit. That's when Ida notices that Misuzu hesitates before agreeing with Chiwa's idea. Chiwa is unaware of Misuzu's abnormality and is eager to pursue Sakata, so she asks how Ida and Misuzu get together. Worried that Ida would reveal her secrets, Misuzu preemptively answers and falsely claims that Ida accidentally sees her panties, and she asks Ida to take responsibility for her. Misuzu notices Ida's embarrassed expression and thinks it's funny, lifting her skirt to tease him as she speaks. Chiwa watches their interaction, believes what Misuzu says, and angrily gives Ida a lesson. At this time, Misuzu is afraid that Chiwa will really show her panties to Sakata, indicating that her method does not work for ordinary boys. At the same time, she points out that the most important thing Chiwa needs to do now is to express herself more in front of Sakata. Chiwa carries out the plan as instructed by Misuzu, and sure enough, it catches Sakata's attention. At least Sakata has remembered Chiwa's name. Next, Chiwa needs to interact more closely with Sakata, but since Chiwa doesn't like Sakata at all, she doesn't have that much patience. She takes Sakata directly to the rooftop and confesses her feelings to him. Misuzu and Ida peep into the corner, both feeling that Chiwa's actions are too hasty. Unexpectedly, Sakata happily agrees to Chiwa's confession and asks her out on a date on the weekend. Ida prepares sumptuous dishes to help Chiwa celebrate the success of her confession. This frustrates Chiwa, who always thought Ida would be jealous if she has a boyfriend. She cries out sadly, hoping that Ida would treat her like a girl. After she says this, she rushes out of Ida's house. Ida ponders what Chiwa has just said and recalls the past. Chiwa had loved practicing sword fighting since she was a child. Once, she injured her leg and could no longer practice swordsmanship since there was a sequelae. It happened that Ida's parents cheated on each other and abandoned him. Ida and Chiwa relied on each other during these saddest days. Ida once promised Chiwa that he would study hard to become a doctor and cure Chiwa's sequelae. At that moment, Chiwa was moved to tears. Ida believes that Chiwa relies on him as an older brother, so he also cares for Chiwa as a sister. Now, he wonders if he has misunderstood Chiwa's idea. It's the weekend, and despite Chiwa's sadness, she makes it to her date with Sakata. Ida and Misuzu carefully hide nearby to watch to prevent accidents at Chiwa's appointment. Chiwa waits hours before Sakata shows up with his friends. As soon as they see Chiwa, they start taunting her for being too confident, mistaking Sakata for liking her. It turns out that Sakata accepts Chiwa's confession just to bet with his friends that Chiwa would have the patience to wait for him on a date. Ida is very angry and wants to rush out to teach Sakata a lesson, but is stopped by Misuzu. Misuzu says that she has long heard that Sakata is a scumbag. She helps Chiwa pursue Sakata in the hope that Chiwa will lose her expectations of being in love and stop pestering Ida. Misuzu's words shock Ida. He tries to leave Misuzu behind and rescue Chiwa but is pulled by Misuzu. Ida relents. He doesn't blame Misuzu, and after gently petting her head, he rushes out to stop Sakata from continuing to humiliate Chiwa. Ida claims to be the righteous burning fighting fighter, and if Sakata doesn't apologize to Chiwa, he will give Sakata a good lesson. Instead of getting an apology from Sakata for Chiwa, he is taught a lesson by Sakata and his friends. Worried about Ida's safety, Chiwa notices that Misuzu throws a pole over and she quickly picks it up to fight Sakata. Chiwa uses her pole as a sword and casts her sword skills to drive away all her enemies. Chiwa happily thanks Ida, who still cares about her despite the dangerous situation. Not far away, a strange girl is staring at them. They come to the school to thank Misuzu for throwing a pole at Chiwa, only to find out that Misuzu has called in sick. Worried about Misuzu's condition, Ida rushes to Misuzu's house immediately after class. As soon as Misuzu sees Ida, she takes the initiative to hug him. From their conversation, we learn that Misuzu is jealous of Ida for leaving her to protect Chiwa yesterday. She has begun to become possessive of Ida. Misuzu kisses Ida to make Ida give more importance to her, leaving Ida speechless. Afraid that her feelings would be seen through, Misuzu lies that the kiss is her prank. This lie fools Ida. Just when Misuzu thinks she can monopolize Ida, Chiwa has begun to actively pursue Ida. Ida is about to go to the bathroom and finds Chiwa taking a shower at his house. So he flees the bathroom and sees Misuzu also come to his house. Misuzu comes especially to make breakfast for Ida. When Misuzu and Chiwa meet, they immediately start a fierce argument. Ida stands helplessly, not knowing what to do. Misuzu and Chiwa have been fighting for Ida even at school. Misuzu clearly has an advantage over Chiwa, and as Ida's nominal girlfriend, she can hold his hand in public and leave school together. On this day, they meet a girl with yellow hair. The girl's name is Mana and she is Misuzu's younger sister. Mana hears that Misuzu is in love and comes to see Misuzu's boyfriend. Later, Mana says that she will take Ida from Misuzu and boldly kisses Ida. Ida sees that Misuzu and Mana have a bad relationship and asks Misuzu about the situation after Mana leaves. He notices that Misuzu is trembling, and she refuses to say anything, leaving doubts in Ida's mind. After that, Misuzu rarely speaks to Ida. Ida tries to talk to Misuzu during swimming lessons, but she jumps directly into the water to dodge. Misuzu cannot swim and falls unconscious in the water. Ida rushes to rescue Misuzu to shore. He restores her consciousness with artificial respiration and then sends her to the infirmary. In fact, Misuzu ignores Ida because she is jealous of Ida and Mana's kiss. This rescue by Ida makes Misuzu relieved. While Misuzu and Ida are going through these things, Chiwa is lying at home sick. Chiwa's mother is in a hurry to go out. She sees Ida coming home from school and asks him to help take care of Chiwa. Ida agrees and takes care of Chiwa gently, and even agrees to help Chiwa wipe her body. Under Ida's care, Chiwa quickly recovers and resumes competing with Misuzu for Ida. At this time, another girl who pursues Ida suddenly appears. She is Himika. She has a serious chinibyo and claims to be a burning princess Saint Dragon Lady of Dawn in her previous life. She heard Ida call himself a burning fighting fighter when Ida was fighting Sakata. Since then, Himika has identified Ida as her lover from her past life and that they are destined to be together again. She boldly confesses her feelings to Ida and does not give up even when Misuzu and Chiwa stop her. Misuzu is terrified of the succession of rivals in love. In order to keep abreast of the movements of her rivals in love, she persuades Himika to join her club on the grounds that she can contact Ida at any time. Misuzu thought she is in control of everything but soon runs into intractable trouble. Mana suddenly brings news to Misuzu, indicating that their father asks Misuzu to leave Japan. Misuzu's father, who lives in Sweden, sends his 2 daughters to Japan to study. Recently, Mana complains to her father that Misuzu has messed around at school these days, leading their father to order Misuzu to return to Sweden. Misuzu does not dare to disobey her father and can only ask Ida to break up. Ida is about to respond when Himika interrupts. Himika writes a love poem for Ida. Out of curiosity, Mana takes away the love poem written by Himika. She sees that the love poem is addressed to the burning fighting fighter, mocking both Himika and Ida as freaks. Ida sees Himika crying sadly and angrily argues with Mana. Mana orders the bodyguard to bring down Ida. What happens to Himika and Ida pisses Misuzu off, who violently reprimands Mana and announces that she won't obey her father's order and will stay in Japan. Frightened by Misuzu, Mana quickly apologizes to Ida and Himika and leaves in a hurry. Ida is also surprised that Misuzu, who only thought about herself before, has learned to defend them. After this, Misuzu meets a strong opponent again. Ai, a member of the student council, has always had a crush on Ida. She notices that Misuzu always takes people who pursue Ida in her club under the banner of pursuing Ida. In order to stop it, Ai dissolves the club on the pretext that students should not be in love. Even the members of the club try to protest, but Ai ignores it. What Ai has to do now is look for opportunities to get along with Ida. Summer vacation arrives, and it just so happens that she and Ida sign up for the same tutoring center. Unfortunately, Ai is very tsundere. Not only does she dare not to approach Ida, but she always acts disgusted with him. Ai's best friend, Kaoru, is also in this tutoring center. Kaoru is obsessed with helping Ai and often creates opportunities for Ai and Ida to get along, but in order to pretend that she is attractive, Ai lies that she has a boyfriend. The entire summer vacation is about to pass, and Ai still fails to get closer to Ida. On this day, things take a turn for the better. Ai leaves the journal in the tutoring center by accident, only to be picked up by Ida. Ida looks at the diary to learn that Ai has chinibyo and often fantasizes about falling in love with a boy she likes, but the boy's name is not mentioned in the diary. Ida learns Ai's secret and panics when he sees Ai return to the classroom to look for the diary. Ai sees Ida holding the diary and chases him angrily. After she gets to Ida, she complains that all her secrets have been seen by him, and cries out in embarrassment. Ida quickly comforts Ai, saying that his real identity is burning fighting fighter, which amuses Ai. The moment they are alone, Ai finally gets to be direct once. She offers to have Ida accompany her to the fireworks display as punishment for peeking at her diary. Ida can only say yes. In the blink of an eye, when it comes to the fireworks display, Ai especially changes into an exquisite costume and takes Ida with her. They come to a hill where they can see the fireworks and no one is there. Ida sees Ai's face illuminated by fireworks and recalls a past episode when Ai was his kindergarten classmate. Ai is angry. They got along well in kindergarten, but Ida forgot about her after graduation. Later, Ai takes out a marriage application. This was drawn together by them back at that time, and they also agreed to stamp the marriage application in the future to get married. Ida is afraid that Ai would ask him to stamp it, and quickly says that the agreement was just a joke between the 2 children. His words immediately irritate Ai, who begins chasing him and ordering him to stamp. That's when they happen to meet Chiwa and Himika. Chiwa and Himika learn everything by interrogating Ida. Ai's pursuit of Ida is revealed, and she can no longer dissolve Misuzu's club on the grounds that students are forbidden to be in love. As soon as the new term starts, Ai resumes the club. She even volunteers to join the club so she can get close to Ida at any time. From then on, the 4 girls take turns fighting for ownership of Ida. In order to compete in charm, they drag Ida to the swimwear store to shop. The girls all put on swimsuits to seduce Ida and even take him to change clothes together. The girls' arguments continue until they leave the swimsuit store. At this time, they meet Ida's aunt, Siko. Siko is the only person who really cares about Ida in his family. She is a maker of love games and has a deep understanding of love. As soon as she sees the girls around Ida, she curiously inquires about their relationship with Ida. Siko hears that Misuzu is Ida's girlfriend and directly says that they are a fake couple. Both Ida and Misuzu are stunned and ask why Siko makes this inference. Siko takes everyone to Ida's house to rest and explains the reason. She senses that Misuzu is not really into Ida, but the other 3 girls clearly like Ida. To prove her point, Siko gives 4 girls a love test. The results of the test show that of the 4 girls, I likes Ida the most, and Misuzu has least affection for Ida. Misuzu does not want her secret to be exposed, and reconciles with Ida, overturning Siko's inference, and insisting that they are a real couple. Chiwa and Himika are innocent and believe their words. Only I remain skeptical. Siko does not continue to argue with them and changes the topic. Her company recently curates a contest about the charm of girls when they fall in love. Siko thinks it must be fun for the 4 girls to compete and promises that if they are willing to take Ida to the competition, they could live in a seaside villa near the venue. The girls all want to prove that they are the most attractive and decisively agree with Siko. When the girls take Ida to the villa, the first thing they do is play on the beach. They all put on swimsuits to try to get Ida's attention. In order to prove that he and Misuzu are a real couple, Ida ignores the other girls and always accompanies Misuzu. The other girls organize a game to get up close and personal with Ida. The game is about blindfolding Ida to see if he can find the watermelon on the beach under the girls' instructions. As soon as the game starts, Ida notices that the girls are telling him different directions. This means that at most only one girl is telling the truth, and after hesitating, Ida decisively pounces in the direction of Misuzu's command. Instead of catching the watermelon, he catches Misuzu. It turns out that the girls are lying, and the directions they tell Ida are where they are at. After the fun, everyone returns to the villa to start making dinner, with Misuzu and I handling the ingredients. I tells Misuzu that she has seen Misuzu look distressed when she was confessed by other boys, and guesses that Misuzu rushes to fall in love with Ida to avoid being harassed by other boys. I's assumption is so accurate that Misuzu doesn't know how to respond. She can only change the topic and then consult Ida alone about countermeasures. They eventually decide to kiss in public in front of the other girls to prove that they are a real couple. When Misuzu and Ida return to the other girls, they receive a surprise, and that is a pendant made by Chiwa, Himika, and I. They say they make pendants for each member of the club in memory of their friendship. Both Misuzu and Ida are touched and they end up not kissing in public to avoid the other girls being sad. Misuzu laments while she and Ida are alone that the other 3 girls still consider her a friend, knowing that she is their rival in love. She is a completely selfish person compared to them, only caring about possessing Ida for her own benefit. Misuzu promises not to ask Ida to pretend to be her boyfriend anymore. When Ida hears Misuzu's promise, he suddenly feels lost. He thinks he has fallen in love with Misuzu. Soon after, the competition officially starts. Chiwa is the first contestant to take the stage. She confesses her feelings affectionately to Ida in public, with a shy expression on her face. Chiwa's innocent appearance wins the love of the audience and gains a high support rate. The next contestant to take the stage is Himika. But Himika is too shy to go on stage and hides next to Ida. Ida gently comforts Himika, causing her to throw herself into his arms, and Ida hugs Himika. All the audience has already set their eyes on them and cheered for Himika. Himika clearly gets support from the audience. The next contestant to show charm is I. I angrily accuses Ida of hugging Himika in public, and then tapes shame on his body. The audience has never seen a girl as bossy as I and finds her attractive. After I, many contestants go on stage to show their charm, and the last one is Misuzu. Misuzu sadly announces that she has just broken up with her boyfriend and is no longer eligible to compete. Ida feels very distressed when he sees Misuzu's sad look. At this moment, he is sure that he fancies Misuzu. Ida rushes through the crowd to Misuzu and declares that he loves Misuzu. Misuzu is surprised by Ida's confession and moved at the same time. They express their affection to each other and then get cheers from the audience with an affectionate kiss. At this moment, I, Himika, and Chiwa in the audience are all stunned. In the end, none of the 4 girls wins the game. The next day, Ida wakes up surprised to find Misuzu in his bed. Ida panics, and in order to get Misuzu to leave, he lies that his confession yesterday is a lie. Misuzu ignores Ida's lie and mischievously falls into his arms. She is pretty sure that Ida likes her. Just then, the voice of Siko comes from outside the door, who has come to pick up Ida and his companions home. Siko speaks to Ida alone. She witnessed everything at the game yesterday, pointing out that if Ida wants to fall in love with Misuzu, he has to dissociate himself from the other 3 girls, and the best way to do this is to make them hate him. Ida decides to follow Siko's advice. At this time, all 3 girls are saddened by Ida and Misuzu's kiss and hide in the room and refuse to come out. Ida first goes to Himika's room, and he wants to break Himika's illusions about him. Ida says that he has awakened memories of his past life and that he was not a burning fighting fighter but an ordinary person. Ida doesn't expect his words to make Himika feel protective of him. Himika believes that as a princess, she must protect civilians and promises to protect Ida forever. Ida fails at Himika, comes to Ice's room, and asks to see Ice's marriage application. He feels I would hate him if he tears up the marriage application. At this time, Ai is still sad about Ida and Misuzu's kiss. She sees through Ida's thoughts, takes out the marriage application in despair, and bursts into tears. Ida panics and accidentally scratches his finger with a piece of paper, causing his handprint to remain on the marriage application. Ai mistakenly thinks that Ida agrees to marry her and rushes out of the room excitedly. It seems that Ida's plan to make Ai hate him also fails. He helplessly comes to Chiwa, and before he can speak, Chiwa stands up and kisses him. She is weeping while confessing affectionately her feelings to Ida. Chiwa says she will not give up on pursuing Ida no matter what happens. Chiwa's tears distress Ida, and he couldn't help but want to hug Chiwa. That's when Misuzu shows up and stops Ida. Ida stands between Misuzu and Chiwa and is in a dilemma. He has absolutely no idea who to choose. That's the end of the story. What impresses me the most in this anime is the moment when Ida and Sakata clash. I've seen a lot of brave anime characters before, and they're all fighting enemies when they know they are strong enough. Only Ida, knowing that he cannot defeat Sakata and his friends, still chooses to defend Chiwa and asks Sakata to apologize to Chiwa. I think people like Ida are really brave. But I think Ida is a coward when it comes to commitment. He fails to distance himself from the girls who like him, causing them to feel like they still have a chance to become Ida's girlfriend. I sympathize with these girls, especially Chiwa. I want her to be truly happy no matter whether she ends up with Ida or not. If you are given a chance to pick one of the girls in this anime, who would you choose? Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Well, that's it for today's video. If you like my video, don't forget to give me thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. There are many interesting anime recaps on my channel. See you in the next video.